Hey there, welcome back. We've got another template design walkthrough here. This is going to be a quick overview of the layer options and how to customize this design. See, it's pretty simple and straightforward to use, but let's jump in here to the layers and take a look at what we've got. Starting at the top, as usual, is our color grading layers. So this is a group of layers that are going to add like a bunch of color toning, contrast adjustments and things to the overall image. And so if you want to make any changes to those, simply expand the group, and you're going to see there's several different layers in here that are creating this color toning and this effect. So there's some contrast being added at the top, some really strong mid-tone and shadow color grade happening here. You've got this kind of punchy effect that's really adding a lot of contrast and things in, and attached to that layer is a warmth control. So if you wanted to warm your skin tone, your subject up a little bit, you would actually decrease this opacity. And then if they're, too warm, you just want to leave that opacity up, otherwise. And then just another color grade here that's just doing a little bit of contrast boosting and things in the right ways. So those layers can be tweaked and adjusted as you would like. Below that is our facial highlight boost. So these are really designed to just increase the highlights on the face to make the face stand out a bit more if that's something that you would like to do. We can take a look at that as soon as we get a subject in here, but it's really just clicking on the mask here. You can see we got one set up for lighter skin tones, one for darker skin tones. So you would just select that mask and a white brush and kind of paint where you want those highlights to brighten up. But again, we can see that better momentarily. Below that, we have some text at the bottom, just using it as the subject's name. As always, the link to this font, if you like this particular font, is on the product page. Below that is some texture that's getting applied, some fine texture over the entire image. This texture layer is also going to help with any banding in this gradient background here. And then below that, we're starting in with this kind of top level effect of these post-it notes type of thing. And so we're going to have a text layer that's on each one. That's just, again, editable color, text, all that, very simple to change. Just double click on the text and type the new text. So very easy to do that. This is the kind of post-it note layer itself. The color can be changed. It's just a shape layer, so just double clicking, and you could sample a color from the background, or you could come choose your own color very simply there, which we'll look at customizing in just a minute. And then we have our shadow for that to give it that three-dimensional effect. And so then we have all three of those. So this would be this middle one here, and then the bottom one down here. So that would all get changed exactly the same. Below that, as always, marked in red is where the subject's going to be placed. If we expand this, you're going to see it's a little bit different on this template, because in order to create this effect, everything is controlled through Smart Objects. And so you'll see this layer for the subject is actually disabled, and we actually want to leave this one disabled. You'll see why in just a minute. And I'll show you how to place that subject within this Smart Object momentarily as well. But just know that you want to leave this disabled. Your subject's going to go into this Smart Object, because when we get to our effect group down here, this is where all the effects being applied. So you're going to see that each one of these kind of post-it note sections here are each their own object, and then the subject is clipped via Smart Object to each one of those to create that layered style effect, so that you keep all the shading and the shadowing and the highlights and all those kind of things. So you can see as we turn each one of those on and off, they're each their own thing. And each of these can be changed into a different color. So if you wanted to match those to a specific color or change to a custom color, you can absolutely do that as well. And I'm going to show you momentarily an action that I've included to help speed up that process as well. All right, so all of these layers, unless you're wanting to just really customize this, which you could move things around, you shouldn't really need to touch any of these. But again, they're there in case you want to, go full customization. That's why I love layered designs, because you can do anything that you'd like to them. And then below that is this just our background shading. That's what's going to give us that nice dimensional lighting across everything. And then the background color, simply just double click in real simple color picker there as well, or just type in or select your own. All right, so let's put a subject in and see how to actually make some of these changes and how easy this is. So all we want to do is we're going to open up our place subject group and place subject in this group, and then we're going to find our subject layer, and we just want to double click on this layer thumbnail here. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up a new document window, and in that document window you're going to see I just have a silhouette of a subject placement. Now this is based on I think it kind of looks cool, the sizing and things here. If you like this similar sizing and placement, then this is going to be the guide to get that similar placement. And you're going to see I have a note here, place the eyes at the guideline. So basically you would size your subject this, same similar sizing, place the eyes here, and it's going to line up in this same orientation here in the design. So let's jump over here and grab a sample subject. I'm just going to drag over into here, and I'm going to go ahead and resize this up to that similar sizing. Something about like that's pretty close. And then once again, I'm maybe bring down just slightly. Bring the eyes, so center up, bring the eyes right around that line, and click OK. Now what I want to do is turn that silhouette off, so I don't need that for sizing anymore. And again, if you wanted to make sure that everything's perfectly centered, you always could just do like a view, guides, and a new guide layout with 2 columns. That would give us a center line. And you could even save those guidelines in this for future reference if you want them there. So he's kind of centered up there. We're going to close this window. It's going to ask us if we want to save the changes, and we're going to say yes. And that's what's going to give us our update to all of the smart objects. So these are going to run. It's going to update all these objects. And then when we get back out here, we're going to see our subject has been applied to all of these smart objects, and clipped to all of these layers to create this overall effect. All right, which I think looks pretty cool. But now if we want to customize our color and background, let's just start with our background. So this could be like a lighter neutral color, which I think looks really cool. Or you could definitely just come in here and sample, a background color, which also looks very cool. I think I'm going to start with something like this. I kind of like this darker background. But then we're going to see, once we change some of these post-it colors and things, maybe I'll tweak that. But let's just start here. I'm going to click OK. Now, for each post-it note, you could open the effect group and you could come into each one of these and, you could pick a color out of here. And you could do that for each and every one of them, of course. But that's going to be a little bit more time consuming. So what I've done is I've made an action, and you'll see it in your download. So if you're going to load up that action, and it's this JHP post-it color action. All right, so we're just going to select that action, and I'm going to run it. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically grab each of these post-its and give you a chance to select a color. So the easiest way to do this is to find the color that you want to make these. So I'm going to sample some of these gold colors here and see. I think I kind of like something like that one. So when I find a color that I like, I'm just going to grab this hex value and copy it, Control or Command C, and click OK, and it's automatically going to grab the next one and pop me up a color picker. So all I need to do at this point is hit Control or Command V to paste that value, and then hit Enter. And then it's just going to run through each one of these. So it becomes pretty quick to just do this to customize all of those quickly. Now you're going to find that because of the horizontal layouts and things that come with this design, a few of the layouts have a different number of post-it layers in them. So you're going to get to a point on this one where it's just going to kind of error out. It's going to tell you that select's not available. When you get that, you're just going to click stop. And I just did that so there didn't need to be like 3 or 4 different actions. So basically that one action is going to handle any of the layouts. Technically the 3:1 horizontal ratio has the most in it. So this would just run, straight through without an error. But any of the other ones, you're just going to error, that one little error at the end, you're just going to cancel it. But again, definitely the quickest way to customize that for sure. All right, so that's looking pretty cool. I'm liking the way this has come together so far. I'm going to come up to these top ones here, and let's update these colors. So we'll scroll back up here. Let's go ahead and collapse that group. We don't need our subject group open. And so let's just start with a top one here, and let's find a color that we like for that. Again, we could come pick a custom color. We could make something that kind of stands out just a little bit more versus blending in. I think it looks cool if it stands out a bit. Even that like darker kind of green looks pretty cool right there. Let's play around with that value a little bit. Just clicking around to see what I like. Maybe a little more desaturated. Let's go with that. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to copy this value. And then I'm just going to update all 3 of these quickly with the same color. All right, very cool. So again, these could be moved around very easily. If you wanted to reposition these, I would just grab, the text and then hold shift, the shadow, and that's going to grab all 3 of those layers. And then you could literally, reorient this anywhere that you wanted it. And then we could just update the text on this. So let's say on this one, we wanted to put the school. There we go. And let's come up to the next one here. Maybe this one would just be the jersey number. And I'm just going to transform this to make it a little bit bigger on this one. And then just drag it more towards the center. There we go, that works. And then on the top one right here, let's just change this to 2027 senior. There we go. So very easily update those as well. And then if we come up here, we'll show this facial highlight boost. So I'll choose the one for the darker skin tone. I'll make sure this mask is highlighted. We'll come over here with a white brush and just paint over the face like that. And you see it's just going to lift all the highlight portions of the face up. And then you could change this opacity to get the value that you want, so it's not anything too crazy there, but it's just going to bring that attention back onto your subject's face, which I think is something that's always good to do. And there we go. That's how we would easily come in and customize that to, drop subject in, match the colors up very easily. And if you're not familiar with smart objects, it can seem a little daunting at first, but they're very easy to use, and it just helps automate creation of this whole effect here. So I would love to see if you guys are using this. Please share what you're doing. Share it in the JHP Backgrounds Facebook group. Send to me directly. I just love to see what you guys are doing and how you're using it. And I'll see you on the next design video.